Steven, when is Mike Florio coming on to take a big old steamy pie to the face?
Told you he's not.
Why not? He gave you his word, sir. He told you if Tom Brady does not sign with the San Francisco 49ers, he would take a pie to the face. Is he not a man of his word?
Well, he is because he also said the Seahawks saying they have no intention of trading Russell Wilson means exactly what it means, which is that he is officially on the market and that he's for sale, and you called it bullshit.
So we're taking one thing that he said was that's the end all be all, that he's right on everything.
Well, he was right on one thing, and it was a pretty big thing. With Tom
Sure.
Brady, pretty obvious that Tommy was staying in the old NFL, and yeah, as we were talking about last week, just didn't make much sense for him to leave the Buccaneers. Why would he?
Exactly. So when someone goes on a limb like that saying that they're definitely going to play for the 49ers week one, and he said he would take a pie to the face, I think he should hold his end of the word.
I'm sure he will, but I mean, it's just a pie
I
to
don't
the
think so.
face. The reason that he took the bet in the first place was because it's so easy. It's just it's a pie to the face.
That is true. He also said that he would walk away from reporting if Tyreek Hill ever played football again. But that's neither here nor here. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Just Your Opinion, man. Derek Papa, Stephen Langford. We'll go through everything that went on in what we're calling it free agency fuckery. I liked your word the other day, so we're going with that since NFL Network does free agency frenzy and MLB Network does fever. We're staying with the alliteration free agency fuckery.
Okay.
And we're in day 2 of free agency. And so far, most of the big names are still available. We'll go through all of the people that have been signed and all of the people that are still available. But real quick, Steven, your thoughts. Sunday night, it happened. It started with the Ronaldo video of Tom Brady kind of like going, acting like Larry David, being like, I don't know if I'm actually retired. And then moments later, he says that he's actually coming back to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, despite all the rumors of him and Bruce Arians not getting along. It's all bullshit. He's not playing for the Niners. He's playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers once again.
My thought is I want the Buccaneers to lose very, very badly. I do not want them to have any sort of success just because this freaking quarterback puts us through it where we got to talk about it and talk about this hypothetical that's really not going to happen. And it's like, it's all so calculated. He knew what he was doing. He hasn't officially been retired. They didn't put him on the reserve retired list until June 1st. He knew until he had that date. We were all fooled by saying that he was retired. So really, you know what? It's on us. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's on us as people for being fooled.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't retired. He just wasn't. That's it.
No, I know. And
he didn't even unretire. He just
I know.
There's just nothing that changed.
He was gone for a month, a solid month. And
40 days to be exact.
Yeah. And it was less than any Brett Favre thing. I mean, basically, he should have just said, I'm thinking about it, and done the same thing that Aaron Rodgers put us through and just said, I'm thinking about it. Because basically, if you compare it, Aaron Rodgers retired for a month and a half, too. I just don't want to go through this every offseason where Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are like, we're going to think about it, and then we're doing the whole watch thing. It's less than Favre, because Favre did the whole goddamn offseason up until June and July, and it was just annoying. I'm not surprised whatsoever. I think it's going to make the last episode of Man in the Arena that much more awkward, since we see Tom Sr. cry about his son retiring. So they'll have to redo that once again, and I don't think anybody's interested in watching that at this point. But I'm not surprised. I just thought that the whole thing was ridiculous to begin with, that the Buccaneers were going to budge and send Tom to an NFC opponent in the 49ers. I know that it's not me being a Niner hater or anything. I just don't think it's feasible. I think it's, as Bruce Arians said, bad business to succumb to that just because Tom Brady reportedly wanted to go to the Niners. I don't think it's even actually a real report. I just think people thought that was going to happen. But in the end, he's going back to the Buccaneers, and they already got some new pieces for him. Russell Gage was signed today to, I guess, make up for Antonio Brown. They also just traded for Shaq Mason from the Patriots. And they lost Alex Kappa to the old Bengals. But, yeah, Buccaneers back in the mix again in the NFC.
Which one of these younger quarterbacks do you think is going to pull this retirement thing? Like this is a take
Good
for
question.
this is the take for 15 years into the future. We got Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert. Herbert's definitely not going
Mm.
to. Herbert, I could see Herbert easily retiring when he's in his prime and just going back to his hometown of Eugene and living off the land.
I don't. That's a great question. I think that we got to wait for these guys to win more because it's got to be someone that is established veteran that can pull this shit.
That's the whole point of the question. That's what makes
I
it fun,
know, but
Derek.
Steven, I'm not playing your talk radio games. Okay, I
What
want
do you
you
mean?
next. I'm not playing these games. I'm not playing these hypotheticals. I'll say we'll see. How you like that for
What?
an answer, Mr. Program Director?
We had like 15 minutes talking about a free agency wish list last week, and you're talking about don't do this talk radio thing to me. Free agency wish list is talk radio 101.
I'm not. Well, yeah, that is true, actually. Just promise me you'll book Mike Florio and you're gonna put a pie in his face and it's gonna sound great for radio.
That wasn't me. That was Bonte that wanted to do it. And Bonte
Oh,
asked him straight
I
up
know Bonte would love to put a pie in Mike Florio's face.
that he would. But then Florio, we're friends now. We all get along.
You, him, and Chris Sims are all hanging out now.
Yes. Yes. We're going out to dinner later.
Sweet. I'm sure Florio will not pay. Anyway, so far, let's go through all the free agency moves that were done on day one. And it was mostly the Jacksonville Jaguars just overpaying for everybody. The good moves I thought they made were Brandon Sheriff. He's a great guard, and they got him for a big contract. And then you see the other ones. Christian Kirk is the third highest paid wide receiver in football right now. Yikes. Zay Jones, fine wide receiver, but he got a big contract. And then you got Evan Ingram, who's been a fine tight end, but I think he got $9 million guaranteed. Not a big contract, but all in all, questionable moves, I would say. I mean, in the end, they're not a big franchise and they got to overpay for some guys. But the Christian Kirk move, I thought, was a little. Chargers signed J.C. Jackson. Good lord, along with Sebastian Joseph Day from the Rams. The Broncos today signed. Well, last night they signed DJ Jones from the 49ers. And then they do the old okey doke with Randy Gregory, who was about to sign with the Cowboys. Not so fast, my friend. He changes his mind because he didn't like the language in a contract and goes to the Broncos. Your favorite team now, the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel gets Chase Edmonds. He also gets, who did he get? Emmanuel Ogbah, Cedric Wilson, Teddy Bridgewater, Connor Williams. They got a nice little group there. And last night, Justin Reed replaces Tyrann Mathieu with the Chiefs, so don't expect him to sign back. And the big one from yesterday, next to J.C. Jackson, in my opinion, the Steelers have a new quarterback. It is Mitchell Trubisky. Your thoughts, real quick, Steven, on some of the moves that were made yesterday?
Well, Christian Kirk is going to be, what'd you say, the fourth highest
Third. Yep. Behind DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams.
Okay, so 4 years, $72 million. Shout out to Zay Jones, by the way. 3 years, $24 million for him. Very happy that he was able to get a contract somewhere where they're willing to pay him a multi-year deal. But let's face it, that's not going to be Christian Kirk, at least, is not going to be third on that list for long. You got way too many up-and-coming wide receivers that are going to get these huge contracts. I don't know how much the Niners are going to have to pay for Deebo Samuel now that Christian Kirk got that huge contract. That's a big implication there because, man, talk about setting the market. It's just like, hey, I can make way more than that guy. Same thing with A.J. Brown, too. Those two guys are going to easily top what Christian Kirk is making, in my opinion. I think those dudes are going to be just rich. So that's not going to happen for long. And nobody wins through free agency. Like whenever we talk about winners and losers through free agency, you can make some good moves here or there. Jacksonville will probably be the de facto winner just because they spent so much and they got a lot of pieces. Actually, I think that offensive line, the fact that it's being built up right now with Brandon Scherf and Cam Robinson being franchise tagged, I think they're going to be pretty good on offense. If James Robinson,
pretty good.
If James Robinson can stay healthy, I don't know about that defense, so I can't really think off the top of my head. Didn't Miles Jack
got released today?
Yeah, so there's no winners or losers through free agency, really, to me. I mean, the winners, if you want to pick one, is I guess there'd be losers because of Devontae Adams, but the fact that the Packers kept Aaron Rodgers and got him under contract today, I'd say the winners are there instead of like the big names, the
Yeah.
most names, the quantity. Yeah, I don't know, man. Free agency doesn't do much for me.
Why is that?
It's because it just doesn't make that big of a difference. It's like the teams that are always making these moves are the teams that need victories. And I mean, I am kind of shocked at the fact that the Raiders haven't done a single thing yet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
No clue why, but like the Chargers, the reason that they're paying J.C. Jackson so much is because they're scared. They're scared of Russell Wilson. They're scared of Patrick Mahomes. And you know what? They're the Chargers. So in the end, they're gonna lose.
Would you say though they're scared or they're just preparing to play against these great teams in the division?
They're scared.
Okay, I think it's a great
Scared
move
money.
to get Say again.
Scared money.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I mean, they have the money. The reason we talked about teams that were going to go all in, and the last 2 seasons, it's been that the winner of the Super Bowl has spent a lot by getting free agents. Tampa Bay Buccaneers went on and got Tom Brady, and they signed all of his friends: Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown. The Rams trade for, it's not free agency, but they traded for Matthew Stafford and Von Miller and all the other guys, Jalen Ramsey. They signed Odell Beckham. So I get it, Steven. Like most of the time, teams that go all in on free agency in years past have not seen the benefits of it. Case in point, teams like the Jaguars that have overspent for guys in the past, or Washington getting guys in the past like Albert Hainsworth and all those messes. I hear you, but it does help. I just don't think that there's some teams that value it, and there's some teams that don't. Case in point, the Indianapolis Colts that have a shit ton of cap room, and they usually just don't spend a lot of money in free agency. They think that they can win by drafting well. So I ask you just real quick, do you put more stock into the draft or free agency?
Ooh, a really good sports radio question there.
That's a smart intellectual question. Now looking at a crystal ball.
888-123-1234. Call in.
That would be our call-in number?
I don't know. I just made one up. I wasn't going to use a real one.
867-5309. Call us now. Jenny.
Of course. Of
you
course.
Can turn to us.
Man, I don't know. I don't really put much stock into either of them. I mean, it's just
building teams is overrated.
It's the off season, man. Who cares? Like, it's just show me what the team actually looks like during the year. You don't win in the off season. Show me.
Are you over this whole frenzy?
Yes.
Or the fuckery?
Yes, and maybe it's just because I've been talking about it incessantly for the next 2 weeks, and the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't been traded anywhere, it's just like, Jesus, man, can somebody please grab this guy? But it's just, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with these draft picks. I don't know if these free agent moves are going to work out. Like, I need to wait till the season. It's exciting, when you're seeing all these names being moved and all these names being bounced around. And maybe I'm just a salty Raider fan who hasn't seen a signing yet.
That's what I think. That's what I think it is.
That could also have something to do with it. And I'm totally fine with that if my fandom's getting in the way. But it's just it doesn't do much.
Hold on one second. So a guy that we thought was going to be with the Niners as a backup for Trey Lance is now off the table. Tyrod Taylor is signing with the New York Giants to back up Daniel Jones. Interesting.
2 years, $17 million, $8.5 million with the New York Giants. Pretty sure. Shout out to Adam Schefter for that one. 8.5 guaranteed. Good for Tyrod, man. I always like Tyrod.
Good for old Tyrod. Maybe he can steal that job from Daniel Jones. We'll see. But now that puts the Niners in the backup quarterback situation, or maybe they already have theirs in Jimmy Garoppolo. We'll talk about it a little later. But just as far as the free agents that are still available are probably the big names. A lot of small dominoes. I guess the biggest name that signed was J.C. Jackson, and I think that's a solid move for the Chargers. I know that they spent a lot of money his way, but he's not making the biggest corner in the league money like we thought he was going to. I wonder what's going on, why the Patriots didn't want to sign him back, but he's going to be their top corner, and alongside Khalil Mack and Derwin James and Joey Bosa, I think that defense is that much better now.
Yeah.
But just as far as the other big names that are on the table still, you got Von Miller, you got Chandler Jones, Bobby Wagner, Teron Armstead, Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham Jr., Tyrann Mathieu, and Zadarius Smith are still all available. So that's interesting that Usually when free agency happens, all the big names just go right away. It's interesting to see the market develop, and now we'll see maybe in the next few days here when the league year actually starts
Right.
tomorrow on Wednesday that guys start changing teams or re-sign with their old teams.
Yeah, I'm surprised about Teron Armstead not going anywhere. I mean, it's like you have an offensive tackle who's very very good on the right side. I'm kind of surprised nobody's gotten him yet. Chandler Jones, I'm a little skeptical about getting. 32 years old. That's pretty. And I don't know. I mean, I guess you can still consider that his prime because 32 is really not that old in the grand scheme of things. But I'd be hesitant to pay him whatever he's worth. And I think Chandler Jones is doing some searching too. Because he talked about all he wants to do is go to a team with the scheme that fits him the right way. And then
Mm.
Allen Robinson. I just want Allen Robinson to get a team with a good quarterback, a capable quarterback. There's we have these when we look back on, from 20 years from now, we're looking back on just the 2020s or whatever, the 2010s and the 2020s. I'm always going to think Allen Robinson had the worst luck when it came to quarterbacks. Let's move on from Blake Bortles to Mitch Trubisky, and then let's get Justin Fields before he's developed into anything yet. I feel bad for Allen Robinson, man. I just want him to go somewhere where he can be happy. I want him to be happy, Derek.
Do you think old Mitch is going to be happy in Pittsburgh though?
I don't know. I mean, he's getting paid, isn't he?
Not a ton, but I think that's a great spot for him. He can,
Why?
because he'll probably be the starter unless he's battling it out with Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins, and I like his chances with that. I never thought Mitch Trubisky was that bad, to be honest. I thought that he was just put in a bad situation with the Bears. I think for the most part, we don't really give time to a lot of these quarterbacks, and I can't wait for Niner fans to turn on Trey Lance when he's not good right away. But I think we got to wait. When you draft
You
somebody,
can't say you don't have any salt towards the Niners and just throw that one out there out of nowhere.
don't you expect it to happen though? Be honest with me.
No, I expect there to be a big argument about be patient versus, oh no, we need to do this right now. I mean, by the time it gets to like week 15, then yeah, I could see that being a conversation. But with Mitch Trubisky, Bears fans and everybody was out on him. Like everybody.
I get that, and that's because the media drives the narrative that he sucks. I think if you actually go back and watch him, he didn't really have a lot of help around him. He had a great defense that one year they went 12-4, and yes, he doesn't look great at times, but I think it's back to reality. He was backup for the Bills one season, and now he's on a great team. They still got to work on some things, but being on the Steelers with a great defense, I think they can do some good things at Pittsburgh.
Maybe. I don't know. Mitch Trubisky doesn't do much for me. Like,
What
I don't know.
what does it for you, Steven? Marcus
What?
Mariota?
No. Like any quarterback that's good.
Okay, but see, that's the thing. And I love that everybody is like,
No, you don't. You do not love that everybody because you sound very
well,
frustrated.
well, that's the joke of it, is that
Mm,
everybody says Derek Carr sucks, this guy sucks, that guy sucks. Okay, then what's your answer then? Are you
mm,
going to operate like the Colts and just say, get Carson Wentz out of here and not have a backup plan? I think they do have a backup plan, but we're just expecting it to be Jimmy Garoppolo, and they don't
mm.
really know what to do with that right now. But I think that uh, you're better off having the quarterback that you know as opposed to the quarterback you don't know. Case in
Right.
point, I think the Falcons are doing a great job not moving on from Matt Ryan just yet. They're asking around, they're having a conversation with Deshaun Watson, but they're not just going to move on from what they have in Matt Ryan for something that they don't know altogether.
All the random reports about Deshaun Watson, by the
Yeah.
way. Yeah, the Browns are interested in him. The Falcons are interested in him. Jordan Schultz had that Niners thing are interested in him.
And that
Mayoko
was refuted immediately by the old Matty Mayoko, Hot
Mayoko was
Cocoa.
quick to shut that down. But look, man, it's Mitch Trubisky. I don't know. I've seen him make some good throws. Like, don't get me wrong on that. I have seen him like really throw some darts. I mean, I remember, dude, it was that Monday night game or whatever it was, Sunday night game with the Bears and the Packers. It was Khalil Mack's first game
Yep.
with the Bears. And I saw Mitch Trubisky make this one throw, and I was like, damn, he's actually, I think it was his second season. I was like, he's got a dart, but it's just the inconsistency. Like, there's only so many quarterbacks to go around. I understand all that, and what the Steelers could have done, I don't know. But look, I think that's just a move to me that where I'm just like, all right, 2 years. And they chose to just not go with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's really what I drew away from that is Garoppolo was clearly the top available starting quarterback, and they decided, you know what, we are not going to trade a third rounder for him and then pay the $7 million or whatever the cap hit's going to be.
Yeah.
We're just going to go with a young, cheap quarterback that can maybe do something, and then we'll go from there.
I think that's the right move. And let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo now.
I think it's fair.
So far, the 49ers have just signed Charvarius Ward from the Kansas City Chiefs, so that's their cornerback that they're adding. They may sign more. They may sign back Jason Verrett or K'Wan Williams, but that's what they got for now. You have to wonder if they're going to be in the Stephon Gilmore market anymore. Probably not. But they saw Laken Tomlinson go away to the Jets, and he's reunited with Robert Saleh. And then, I said earlier, DJ Jones signs with the Broncos. And we kind of expected them not to re-sign. But as the time keeps ticking, Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the 49ers and still takes up a lot of the salary cap.
Yeah.
So while you and I and most of, people talking about this expected Jimmy to be traded, this shoulder injury is becoming more of an issue, in my opinion. Or it could just be that John Lynch is taking his sweet ass time and finding the best spot for him to be traded to. Or people are just like, no, we don't know what he's going to be like come July, so we're not trading for shit right now. It's tough. This is not the situation the 49ers wanted to be in. Or maybe they did just because they're waiting to see what the best offer is. But I don't think they're going to get a lot. It's tough because you got to trade him eventually, and I know there's teams that probably want him. At the same time, there's teams that are like, what the hell are we getting? At this point, the obvious place for him to go to is Indianapolis. But you hear these rumors that they're kind of souring on him because of the shoulder surgery. And they're thinking about Marcus Mariota or Gardner Minshew. And I'm like, you really traded away Carson Wentz for those guys? Good Lord. So I don't know if it's bad business to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. I would say a 5th-round pick, and you're risking a ton with the shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, I would say it's in the best interest for both parties. We may see a trade the next couple of days. We may not. We may see, I know Niner fans are going to hate hearing this. We may see Jimmy Garoppolo have to rehab with the 49ers, and by the time that he's healthy in July, his market's gone, unless there's an injury.
Yeah.
But I think it's becoming more and more close to the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo may be back on the 49ers next season and just backing up Trey Lance.
I think that the Colts are still very much in play. I don't think they're giving the 49ers what they want for him. But okay, can we just you know what? Maybe you can teach me a little something, because I'm
going to school you, baby. I'm taking you to school.
You know way more about this stuff than I do, and I need this to be cleared up. So the dead cap money in a contract, that's what they got to pay if they release him, right?
$7 million.
So it's $7 million.
$7.5 million.
Why am I seeing 1.4?
If they cut Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yes.
Why am I seeing 7.5? Who's saying that?
I'm just looking at Spotrac and look at the amount of dead cap that they owe this year if they do cut him.
Now, dead cap is, I think, comes into play if they trade him.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong. I'm just playing general manager on TV, but I love how everybody is a salary cap expert when really no one knows how the fuck this stuff works. Like the Rams signed Joe Noteboom and Brian Allen, and Andrew Whitworth retired today, but they're still under the cap or whatever the fuck it is right now. Like it's just crazy how these guys make this work.
Yeah. There's so many little intricacies and all that's included in it. Okay, so if it's going to be that $7 million, they could easily, and I want to be shocked if they do this. So just what? Like, half of it though is what? So 3.5, and they could easily just wait till June 1st, which gives you, it's like that deadline. They don't even have a name for the deadline, by the way. It's just the June 1st deadline. You could wait till after, and then you could prorate the amount that you pay in order for them to be released. But like we mentioned last week, when Corey Littleton got released, it seemed like they designated it so he's not released till June 1st. So if the 49ers were to release him, then they'd probably do that. But
that's true. I just don't think they don't want to spend anything on him. If they trade him, I don't know about the 1.5 million you're seeing, but I don't think they pay anything.
No. At this point though, just get rid of him. Just be gone.
But it's not that simple. This surgery fucked everything up. Good Lord. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I would have assumed he'd be gone by now.
Yeah, I thought third rounder was perfect for him. The
Not
third and
anymore.
conditional second or whatever. I mean, 2 seconds didn't even seem out of the realm of possibility when who was it? Albert Breer on Monday Morning Quarterback said that I expect it to be the same as the Alex Smith trade, which was for 2 seconds.
Yeah,
So and I don't know, man. Like, but with Garoppolo, you're gonna get those jersey sales down. Like that's or not down. You're gonna get them up.
yeah.
Like you're paying whatever you're paying for them, but you're making it up. You're making up for it in revenue from merchandise and ticket sales and all that.
So are you still expecting the Indianapolis Colts to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know why the Steelers came up. I think the Panthers is pretty viable for Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson's going to go to the Panthers. I think that's what we're going to see. And then the next available team is going to be the Colts, and
Yeah.
I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them, but hey, Garoppolo is really good at handing the ball off, and that's what they're going to want for Jonathan Taylor.
Exactly. I think it's a good fit. I understand the hesitancy given the shoulder surgery.
Tough word.
Plus,
It's
it
tough.
is
It's a tough pairing of
it's a
words to
tough
say.
one. What was the one you said the other? What was the one you said last week? We were talking about. You said
Ooh.
shoulder surgery is the most difficult word to say in sports, next to bulging disc.
I might have blown that one out of proportion. That was a little hyperbolic right there. I don't know if it's the toughest
Hyperbolic.
word to say in sports. Ooh, I don't know.
Probably shoulder surgery. I would say
Shoulder
that's right.
surgery is really tough. Apparently saying the word "do" is tough for me. Like
Do? Oh, do
do.
do.
Yeah, I accidentally said do, as if I was singing a song.
Doobie 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 doo.
It's a real issue that I have. It's a hole in my radio game that I'm trying to get out of here.
You got to fill that hole, baby. Fill the
Mhm.
hole.
But no, man, I don't know what's gonna happen with Jimmy, man. And what's gonna happen in these next couple of months is they're gonna. I mean, they got to do it before the draft, right? Like if they don't do it before the draft,
Well, that's the thing is that he's not going to pass a physical when he's traded. So you just have to deal with the fact that he is going to be in a sling until July.
it's such a mess.
I know that's why I'm in agreement with you. I still expect the Colts to at the end of the day be like, well, we need somebody. So
Yeah.
they trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think I think they're trying to scare the Niners by saying they're interested in Marcus Mariota or Gardner Minshew. You can't tell me that's an upgrade. You can't tell me that's an upgrade. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, you could sell the coaching staff and the fan base on that and the fact that he's a winner in some regard. But yeah, I mean, you have to think this through before you trade Carson Wentz. Like, it feels like they just try to make every call. Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, maybe even Matt Ryan. But at the end of the day, they don't have a lot of draft capital. So I could see Jimmy Garoppolo being traded for a fifth round pick contingent on if he is actually going to play week one, given the injury. So
Oh
we'll see
boy.
here.
Oh boy. So what do you think? What would you say right now if you had to choose a week one team for Garoppolo?
I'm still saying the Colts.
You're still saying the Colts too.
I'm
Okay.
still saying the Colts. And yeah, like I said, I think that the Colts need to figure out what their situation is. They don't have a first round pick. They're not going to get Derek Carr. Kirk Cousins is out the window. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to go to the Atlanta Falcons, so I think that Matt Ryan's staying in Atlanta. Marcus Mariota, you can't tell me he's better than Carson Wentz. Same thing with Gardner Minshew. Your best bet is to play Jimmy Garoppolo. Trade for him, at least.
Agreed. We got an update from Ian Rappaport. The Panthers are signing Deontay Foreman.
That's your Ian Rappaport?
Him and Schefter sound the exact same. They are. They're the same person.
I don't know about that. Schefter has definitely the Carolina Panthers, to my knowledge, are signing. Who'd you just say?
Deontay Foreman.
And it's come to light. Someone screenshotted all of the insiders' tweets. The agents are the ones that prompt these tweets for them. They're on a text thread with it's probably the same text thread. Whoever these agents are that they're close with, they got a text thread with Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, Josina Anderson, Jeremy Fowler, Tom Pelissero, all these guys are all on the same text thread, and they copy and paste that text and send it as the tweet. Because we saw the exact same thing verbatim on a lot of these deals.
Oof. Yeah. Well, you're probably not wrong.
That's what I'm talking about. Just my opinion.
Do you have sources?
I don't have sources, can't confirm nor deny, but I just saw someone screenshot the exact same thing for like every single insider. Just like, well, someone's writing this shit for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a template, though. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
insider template. It's just hashtag the
Yeah.
team, then sign, position, whatever, and then you put comma sources say. I like.
But it's always like a nice, like nifty thing at the end, like some like nice little spicy thing. Like it's
Yes.
like Indianapolis Colts finally get their quarterback. The Niners trade a 5th-round pick to the Indianapolis Colts. They traded away Carson Wentz, and now they get their guy.
You know what, though? Yeah, I think this proves that John Heyman, baseball insider, he does not get his tweets copied and pasted. That dude will go
just bare bones.
That dude will go Matt Olson, period. Braves, period.
Oh, don't get me started.
Passing first, and he uses the numeral first. Passing first. Period.
He has no time for any more characters.
He doesn't.
Just give me the meat of the potatoes.
He's been getting drilled, by the way, because of that trade for the Yankees and the Twins. Because
Gio
Urshela and Gary Sanchez going to the Twins for Josh Donaldson and a bunch of other players. Because Gary Sanchez they've been wanting to get rid of for a while. Like Yankee fans hate him, but Gio Urshela is a good young player. That could turn into something. So fans weren't too happy about that. And you're getting him for a guy in Donaldson who, he's a good player, but he can't really stay healthy. And so John Heyman tweets out something like that. I have not seen a deal like this where both teams are happy with what they have. And people were going nuts in the comments.
Hey, man.
Oh,
hey, man.
Oh, it's so good. But
I only rely on 2 guys. Tweet, though. I only rely on 2 guys for baseball stuff.
Who's that?
Jeff Passan and Kenny Bowtie.
Kenny Bowtie?
And our guy, Ken Rosenthal.
Wait, what?
Ken Rosenthal. I call him Kenny Bowtie.
Well, what about John Morosi?
I was just about to say, our guy who told me he's going to join us on the podcast in a couple of weeks here, John Morosi, or as Sponte loves to call him, Bubba. Yeah, I love John Morosi too. 3 guys, I should say.
Yes.
Steven, we have not seen, this is probably why you're salty about free agency. We have not seen the Raiders make any big moves. Last night, we were expecting Stephon Gilmore to sign with the Raiders. It was leaning in that direction, but things have cooled off because I'm expecting Raiders insider Vinny Bonsignore said that the Raiders were in the thick of it with Stephon Gilmore. Nothing's happened yet.
Yeah, no, they could just be waiting to get a deal done. I think Chandler Jones is someone who may have. I think you're right there. I think they're looking for an edge rusher. They need something else. I think it's just there's too many connections between Stephon Gilmore and the Raiders that it's too perfect of a match. But maybe he hates McDaniels and Ziegler.
No, I think it's just the money's got to be right. And no, I don't think they. No, I think that a lot of the big names haven't signed yet, so they're still waiting for the market to develop. But I mean, do you expect Stephon Gilmore to make more money than J.C. Jackson at this point?
No, he can't.
Well, he may ask for that.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. But I think that I think Stephon Gilmore and Chandler Jones are 2 names to watch out for the Raiders. I don't know if both are feasible, but it sounds like things are getting interesting with those 2 guys. We don't know what's happening yet. As far as Teron Armstead, you brought him up earlier.
Yeah.
It's said that he is literally waiting to see if Deshaun Watson is traded to the Saints. That's what he's waiting on.
Smart move.
It's a smart move, but financially, I mean, again, we know nothing about the cap, but all reports have been, and what you see on Spotrac is that, by the way, is it called Spotrac or Sport Track?
I think it's Spotrac.
It is Spotrac?
I used to call it Spot Rack.
I bet you did, you dirty bastard. I spotted a nice rack. Yeah, besides, who the Raiders signed yesterday? Philip Adams or Philip, there's probably a guy they had in the past. Who's the guy they signed? The only lone person they signed so far.
Oh, God. Darius Phillips?
Darius Phillips?
Yeah.
Darius Rucker? Only want to be with you, Raiders.
No, Darius Phillips, I think. Let me double check.
See, we don't even know. That's how big he is.
Well,
And I've noticed, and I love that Kyle Brandt brought this up today on Good Morning Football, that he hates this shit. So do I.
Phillips.
Phillips, there you go. Have you noticed a lot of eye emojis, which is, of course, the big signal in free agency that someone's on the move? Have you noticed a lot of eye emojis from Yannick Ngakoue lately?
I haven't seen Yannick Ngakwe's Twitter. Has been tweeting out eye emojis.
He's been texting some eye emojis.
I mean,
Or tweeting some eye emojis.
See, what does that mean? Because we saw the reports that JC was going to the Chargers. They were just reports at the time. Then Derwin James hits the eyes emoji.
No, I'm thinking that he thinks that he might be traded.
Really?
I'm telling you, dude, I know you're laughing at me about this 3-4 scheme, but I think it's a big deal, and I don't think Yannick Ngakoue is sticking with him.
No, I'm not talking about Yannick Ngakoue, and I was talking about Derwin James. If Yannick Ngakoue, yeah. No, if Yannick Ngakoue, and I am making fun of you for the 3-4. It's 4-2-5, Derek.
All right.
4-2-5. That's what we're going. Hey, what was the? Oh, by the way, I remembered the word that I was looking for. Patrick Graham, illusion. Voice cracked. Illusion of complexity.
Ooh,
that's what the Raiders defense is bringing.
Oh,
no
like
more
that.
Commitment to excellence. It's illusion of complexity. I think that's what they need to put in a banner at Allegiant Stadium.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, the illusion of complexity. But no, I could see that happening. But you got to have a backup plan. You know, don't treat this like the Wentz thing. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But they could. I think they're actually going to get a pretty good pick at 22. Been doing a little digging, and it looks like, you know, the amount of guys that are going to fall before them. I mean, you can get a pretty nice wide receiver here or there. You might be able to get a nice little linebacker if Nakobe Dean from Georgia falls to them. I mean,
Nakobe.
Yeah, I'm a big Nakobe Dean guy. The only reason is I'm kind of like John Gruden and Mike Mayock. I look like I only watch the national championship games.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, that's how I'm going after the draft. I want someone from Georgia. I want someone from Alabama. That's it.
So are you still holding out hope that they sign Stephon Gilmore?
I am. And that's just because of the connection, though.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, the money
Carolina Panthers defensive backs coach is now the Raiders defensive backs coach. So, and he knows Ziegler and McDaniel from the Patriots. So
they got to be doing something there.
I think they are, and I've also heard rumors about Allen Robinson being in the mix for the Raiders. I'm not a big Allen Robinson guy. I'm not.
Why not?
Because I just don't think that he's that.
He was holding Mitchell Trubisky back.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Mitchell Trubisky was a fine and dandy quarterback until Allen Robinson came into his life.
It's his fault that Blake Bortles and Mitch Trubisky stunk.
I don't think that he fits. I think that they need a speed guy. I still like Brandon Cooks with the Raiders. There's other guys available. I'm just not thinking at the top of my head real quick, but I think there's better guys that the Raiders could go get.
Hang on. You know what? I'm gonna search this up right now. I do gotta say though, I like the pickup that the Niners made with Charvarius Ward. He's not flashy.
That's a good pickup.
He's not flashy, but man, he's tough.
He's the opposite of J.C. Jackson. He is like a single interception type of guy in a season, but he, lockdown corner. He'll make that secondary better, and I don't think they're going to go any bigger than that. I think that they'll try to re-sign Jason Verrett or K'Wan Williams, and that's what they do in the secondary. And I'm surprised that they are keeping Dee Ford around. They restructured his contract once again. That dude that hasn't played in solid 2 seasons, this is Jerick McKinnon all over again. Yeah. He is going to stay on the Niners for now.
Ooh, what do you think? TikTok Smith-Schuster, where's he going to go?
Ooh, I think the Chiefs. He was close to signing there last year, yeah.
Oh,
they need to make some moves. And I know you're saying like the Chargers were doing scared money.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to react. I mean, Chiefs got to make some moves. The Chargers got to, the Chargers have made some moves. Broncos are making moves for Randy Gregory. They may get Bobby Wagner because he's apparently being recruited by Russell Wilson, but I guess they don't he doesn't like him. And then the Raiders.
Wait, really?
Well, there's always that thing that Richard Sherman and Bobby Wagner were like, we love Russell Wilson playing quarterback for us, but we also think he's fucking phony.
Yeah, Malcolm Smith did the same thing when he came to the Raiders, and he was asked about the differences between Carr and Russell Wilson, and he's like, Carr's a lot cooler.
Compared to Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah.
What is Sierra like besides that Russell Wilson's like a good-looking guy? Like, what is appeal? He seems like a robot.
He does. I mean, it's like with the celebrity stuff, man. These guys are different. Maybe he was different than other celebrities that she's met in the past.
Real quick, I hate I'm bringing this up. Why the fuck are we seeing the text exchange between Pete Davidson and Kanye West? Why?
That
Why
is
is that public
that is
knowledge?
that is Skeet Davidson to you.
He calls himself that.
No, Kanye does though.
Skeet Davidson.
Skeet, yeah, he says your boy Skeet.
Oh my god.
I like the, and, I don't like that there's texts are out there, but I think that was Kanye that posted them or something.
That's terrible. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah. But did you see those texts though?
I did, and it was half. Hey Kanye, I'm trying to look out for you, man. By the way, I'm tapping your girl. You're tapping your girl now.
I'm in bed with your wife. Said that in his you could read that in his Staten Island accent. Hey, yo, I'm in bed with your wife.
Oh, God.
I like Pete Davidson, man. I don't know. A lot of people. I've been hearing so much of. I don't
He's growing
get it.
on me.
A lot of
Listen.
I don't get it, but I'm like, dude, he's funny. If you watch his stand up, you listen to him talk. I've paid attention to him since he was 20 years old, starting out with SNL. The dude, I think he seems like a normal person compared to a lot of people.
In reality, I'm just jealous of him because he's younger than me and he has more success. But honestly,
yeah,
he's growing on me a little bit. I liked King of Staten Island. That was a solid movie. I think my roommate was telling me the other day that someone said this. It's actually a great quote about why do women dig Pete Davidson. It's just because like every woman in their life when they're young or older, just see like a guy that has no ambition, just a guy that says fuck it, has nice weed, just fun to hang around. You hang out with them for 6 months, then you get rid of them.
yeah. Well, I mean, it happens, but I mean, he's successful.
Happened to me. Happens to me a lot. Anyway,
I mean, what was it? Someone like Kim is always talking about like how hard she works, and it's just like, dude, stop.
Oh, that's my dad. That's my dad going on. You ever hear my dad talk about Kim Kardashian saying she's such a hard worker? She's always like in the public eye doing stuff. I'm like, yeah, she's a hard worker. Please, she is. She's such a good role model for the girls and everything. I'm like, you kidding me?
Wait, does he bring that up on the air?
My dad on multiple occasions has defended Kim Kardashian, saying how much of a hard worker she is and how good of a role model she is for young women.
Huh. Greg. This isn't.
That is just the influence of my sisters saying like, "Oh, she's so empowering." Please.
I mean,
there's other great examples of that. That Kim Kardashian is not.
My buddy Joel watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians because he thought it was cool watching a bunch of business moguls kind of doing their thing and seeing how business is done. I don't know. There's a different side to it, I guess.
I guess there is. The one that's doing the business is the mom.
He made a very convincing argument, too. It's very compelling, and he's telling me about all these stories. I'm like, so cool. So you have to sit through all the, why won't he like me?
Yeah, exactly.
Through all that stuff, and so you can get to the business part of it. All right. Well, I guess I'll have to sit through it.
Anyway, Kardashian stuff aside, let's get back to sports.
Damn it! I was enjoying that conversation.
you were into that more than the frenzy.
Can we talk more about like Jake Paul and his breakup?
Oh my god, what is that about? I care less.
I don't know, dude. I'm seeing like the thing is, you know what the issue is? There's a lot of issues in this world. There's a part of the country going through a war right now. But on Snapchat, when I'm looking. Like there's these pages that they have, and these certain Snapchat pages, they're super popular. Sports Center Snapchat is fantastic, by the way. I don't know if you probably, I don't think you have Snapchat. You do not seem like a Snapchat guy.
Steven, you already know the answer to that question before you ask it.
Yeah. I don't even know why I said that. But they have a bunch of like video pages and stuff, and they're all just about the Paul brothers, Pete Davidson.
This is Sports Center Snapchat?
Bieber and Haley Bieber. No, Sports Center's good. Sports Center Snapchat's good. It goes through the stuff from the nighttime.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they Snapchatted about Pete Davidson. Anyway.
Skeet Davidson. But it's just like, dude, there's
Skeet David.
Is this really what young people care about? The younger generation? Is this really what these 20-year-olds are looking at? And
yes,
apparently they are,
unfortunately.
Tough.
Anyway. Von Miller apparently is in the mix to go to the Dallas Cowboys, back to the Rams. It sounds like the Broncos is off the table now because they signed Randy Gregory.
Nothing like a player being in the mix.
Oh, yeah. in the mix. That's the latest rumors with him. You brought something up earlier too. Another guy that's available free agency wise
Huh.
that I think could set the market for Debo Samuel,
Ooh.
Cordero Patterson.
Hmm.
Because while he's not Debo, he's a guy that's similar to him in the fact that you use him as a offensive piece everywhere, running back, wide receiver. I'm interested to see what he makes if he signs back with the Falcons or goes somewhere else. I thought that Mike McDaniel will be all over him because it's like having another Debo Samuel. It's not, he's different, but it'd be interesting to see what money he makes in relation to what the Niners could possibly give Debo down the line.
Damn, you really think that it's going to be that low?
I don't know.
I get the comparison, but like because
It's that low. It's
they're
just,
wide receivers that turned into running backs, but like Debo's a totally different animal than Cordero Patterson.
No, I agree. I just think that I'm interested to see what Cordero gets if he's paid more like a running back or if he's paid more like a wide receiver. Debo should blow him out of the water. I'm just saying that it's going to be interesting to see what he makes, and then Debo goes back to the Niners and be like, I'm a better wide receiver and I'm a better running back than this guy.
Yeah, I hate that. You know, like I hate the whole paid like a wide receiver, paid like a running back, paid like a whatever. I just got a text from my brother saying, "Can you guys get back to the Kardashian talk, please?" Oh man, he's just alone in his garage right now in his creepy little office, and he wants to hear about the Kardashians more than he wants to hear about sports. While he's got CNBC going on a no volume on the TV. Oh, what are stocks doing today? I think the stock market's closed. God, he's gonna hate me for that one. What were we talking about? Cordell Patterson. Like the value that Debo had to the Niners this year, like it supersedes anything that running backs could be getting nowadays. I don't know. It blows my mind that guys like Christian McCaffrey and Zeke were getting paid the way that they were compared to the wide receivers. I don't know, man. It's just I get where you're coming from with Debo and Cordero and that he could set the market, but I could see Cordero making running back money, so to speak. It was like he was forced to be a running back, as opposed to Debo, where it kind of just, you know, and my brother just texted me. That's exactly what I'm doing. Yep. Just sitting in his office watching
Spot on
with no volume on. But so what? He's not with the Falcons anymore. He's a free agent from the Falcons.
He's a free agent available to sign with anybody he chooses.
Bring it back to the Raiders. Let's have another go around.
With Cordero Patterson, that would be interesting, but I don't think they need him. It's interesting to see what happens with Odell. I think it's the same kind of situation with Jimmy in the sense that if you go to a new team, it's not really going to help you. You got to rehab for most of the season. So I think the best spot for him is to go back to the Rams. And, you know, Jimmy is in the same kind of boat where it's just like, do I want to rehab this offseason with a new team, not do OTAs, learn a whole new offense, learn it in July and get on the field in training camp by then? I don't think it's that big of a deal, but a lot of teams value that. So a lot of unknowns. It's kind of interesting that these bigger names have not signed yet. It may just be that they're waiting for most of the salary cap stuff to actually go into place by tomorrow. But I don't know. I just find it interesting that all of these guys have not found a home yet, and it may just be that they're waiting for things to materialize.
You want to know my big Niners prediction for who they're going to sign next? It's always
lay it on me.
It's always fun to, and I've said this already before. It's always fun to do this. It's always fun to play this game of, it's like I think they're going to sign this guy, and then when they do, then you show off about it for the next half hour. And if they don't sign them,
that's all I'm about, man.
And if they don't sign them, then they just forget about it and nobody cares and you don't say anything and nobody says you're wrong. So you only mention it when you're right. Morgan Moses.
Well, I'll remember.
I know you will. Morgan Moses.
The right tackle?
Right tackle from the Jets. He is going to be perfect for the 49ers. Dude,
was he with Kyle in Washington?
He was.
So he was the right tackle to Trent Williams.
At the very least, he was with Trent Williams. I don't know about Kyle Shanahan actually, because he was there. He was first there in 2014. So would that be
now?
Kyle
Why
Shanahan?
Are you saying him when they already have Mike McGlinchey?
They don't.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Mike McGlinchey's not a free agent.
Oh no, they had his option they can pick. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Hang on.
Pretty sure he's under contract.
Hang on. Am I totally wrong on this?
I don't think Mike McGlinchey's a free agent.
Oh crap!
You're gonna have to come up with a new. Yeah, that's a bold prediction, right? All right, I'm writing that down. Morgan Moses.
It's just
Putting it down. Stephen Langford said this, along with Rob Manfred getting acid in his face. Okay, we'll see if it happens.
With that tomorrow.
You're gonna open the show with that?
I got nothing else to talk about, man. Let's go.
Back to the Kardashians. So
Yes.
no. Let's get to the latest on Deshaun Watson. So he is talking to the Saints and the Panthers as of yesterday. Everyone thought that he was going to be in the mix for the Seattle Seahawks. Nope. He has declined to even talk with them. So the Seahawks will have to go a different route. Maybe they're sticking with Drew Lock. Maybe they're drafting somebody. We'll see what happens there. He's going to talk to the Cleveland Browns and the Atlanta Falcons tomorrow. But this report of him taking a meeting with the Niners, erroneous. They're not doing it. How do you think it would have been? How do you think it would have been perceived if, I mean, I can imagine every show reacting to Deshaun Watson being in the mix for a meeting. But given Trey Lance being on the team now, you don't know what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo. Would have been smart for the 49ers. I mean, everyone's doing their due diligence right now, but would have been smart for the Niners to sit down with Deshaun Watson?
Well, no. I mean, they got to give up draft picks in order to get them. Of course, that wouldn't have been smart.
But I think they were in the mix last season at this time.
I 100% do. I 100% do until these allegations came along. I was watching Bomani Jones's new show on HBO, Game
Theory?
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet.
He made a good point about the Deshaun Watson thing.
What did he say?
It's just as soon as he got cleared, like we at least cleared of criminal charges. We did not hesitate just to go straight to, all right, which team's he going to go to? Like, we just put the case completely behind us. Nobody cares about it anymore. It's just, is Deshaun going to my team? And that's what that's what ESPN, they're all focused on. Like, they're not focused on the court case at all. And like, hey, maybe we should try and make the NFL a better place and maybe not put people like this who have been allegedly assaulting 22 different women. Like, so I mean, it's like, it's just crazy that we're in this place now. And I just saw like a tweet from NFL on Fox, and they posted a graphic of where will Deshaun Watson end up. And we don't even care about the case anymore. That's just where we're at in society today.
Well, yeah, I totally get that. I felt it kind of weird when that stuff happened and everyone tweeted out, it was the same thing with everybody's tweet. Deshaun Watson not facing criminal charges. And that immediately turns into, where's he going?
Yeah.
And I still think there's a strong possibility he is suspended, not the whole season. I'm 8 games, 6 games. I mean, it was a big deal of what he was accused of.
Yeah.
And we've seen in the past, Ben Roethlisberger, Ezekiel Elliott. I mentioned this last time on the podcast, but whoever does trade for him, you do have to, I mean, it's a risk. It's not the end of the world, though, if he misses, a few games. But you do have to take into account that he is not going to be your week 1 starter. And there is going to be backlash. The PR around this, like, when the Eagles traded for Michael Vick or just signed Michael Vick after he got out of prison, they were lambasted for that. PETA was all over their ass. It was not good until the end. Michael Vick actually got in front of the cameras and said, I was a bad guy and I'm not that same person anymore. You saw like all the stuff he did with dogs, changed his whole attitude. Prison really changed him. We'll see what happens with Deshaun Watson, and if he's really, he hasn't been, committed, he hasn't been, exonerated just of criminal charges, but he may still have to face civil lawsuits.
Right.
But he hasn't been proven innocent, so I don't know if he's going to really change anything. Like, this is different in the sense that for a year and a half, this guy has been, public enemy number 1 as far as, just what he's been accused of. And then he goes from that to now immediately NFL teams are being like, you get to pick which team you get to play for.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but that's just how our society works. Like Tyreek Hill, as soon as he's not getting suspended or facing criminal charges for allegedly beating up his girlfriend or infant son, then it's like, no harm, no foul. Tyreek, go ahead and do your thing, man. Peace. But yeah, it's
even with audio recordings too, man. Even with audio recordings,
I know.
Like straight.
I remember hearing that. It was terrible.
Oh,
but in the end, no one at the end of the day, it's just, let's go back to playing football. And I
Yeah.
really don't know what's right. I don't know because,
Right.
like we said last time, I have made it a habit of separating the artist from the art. And that's a bad example for football because I don't think football is art. It's beautiful, but it's not art. Um, it's just tough, like you watch somebody on Sundays and root for them, and then, they could be a terrible person behind closed doors.
Yeah, yeah. So for that reason, no, it's not smart for the 49ers to have some sort of negotiation with them. I do think all these other teams are in play as of now, and I, I don't know, man. These GMs and these owners, they all think differently than we do. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they care about, what they don't care about. If they care that their team's going to get this guy, oh, it's fine. He's going to win us a Super Bowl. And it's just like, well, you're forgetting about everyone else that has been impacted by him. But Deshaun, I think he's going to get traded before Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that's for sure.
Well, is that what we're waiting on here to see where Deshaun goes? And he's the bigger quarterback. He's the one that's
Yeah.
going to dictate this more than Jimmy is. So once that landing spot is taken away, whether it's Carolina, New Orleans, Cleveland, or Atlanta, then things open up for Jimmy Garoppolo. I would say
Mm-hmm.
the both of them are not related in the sense that it was reported yesterday that the Colts inquired about Deshaun Watson and were denied immediately because they are division opponents. That never
Yeah.
was going to happen. So if you're not getting Deshaun Watson, you might as well get the second best quarterback out there right now, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm
And a
just saying
guy
that's
with
my
and a guy with a squeaky clean record, except for the whole dating a porn star thing or whatever it was.
okay. There's no crime in that though.
No, not at all.
Jimmy's a good looking guy. You get 40-year-old porn star.
I'm just saying it's not squeaky clean. It's just clean.
Yeah, but you remember when I got in hot water when I made the truth machine of Jimmy Garoppolo going to the VD clinic after he hung out with the porn star?
Oh my god, dude.
Jimmy
Jeez.
VD.
Oh man, you you didn't get
That was
into hot
solid
water.
humor. That was solid comedy.
You didn't get into hot water. You bathed in hot water during your time in radio. You were sitting in the hot
It was a
tub.
solid joke. It was a funny scenario.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
You pitch that anywhere in Saturday Night Live, they're like, that's a pretty good sketch.
Yeah, that's better than anything else we'll ever come up with.
Do you find it interesting though the Cleveland Browns and Atlanta Falcons, while they have quarterbacks right now, are going to talk to Deshaun Watson, and then if they don't land this guy, they have to go back to Baker Mayfield or back to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, he's old. He's an older quarterback at this point. He understands the game. He's just lucky to be on the Falcons at this point because he's making so much money, even though they lowered his cap figure for this year. But if you're Baker Mayfield and you are on a lame duck season with the Browns, they're not going to sign you to a contract. They may just play it out, and they got you Amari Cooper to play with, but long term, they don't know what they're going to do with you. If you're Baker Mayfield, are you all going to get butthurt about this, that Deshaun Watson is interviewing with your team?
Of course, man.
But it's business at the end of the day, too.
It is a business at the end of the day, but he's not allowed in the RV.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, the quarterback RV, the QB RV. I don't know, man. Maker Bayfield. That's my favorite.
Maker Bayfield?
Maker Bayfield is going to go to a new team. I don't know if it's this year, but he needs a new change of scenery. And if anything, he's just going to be another backup quarterback who can be pretty good. But I don't know, man. I don't know. If another team's talking to Deshaun, I mean, of course I'd be offended if I was Baker Mayfield, but I don't know. People don't like Baker Mayfield, man.
I kind of soured on him a little bit just with the fact that he was obviously hurt last year with the shoulder injury.
Oh.
And still was just, I'm playing. I'm the guy. And I get it. He's a better quarterback than Case Keenum. But they could have won more games with Case Keenum if he was just a little more, easygoing and been like, I'm not playing well. This injury is affecting us as a team right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he does need to think for the betterment of the team with that. But I don't know with Baker Mayfield, man. He's probably going to stick with the Browns, and the Browns are going to be the Browns, as they always are.
All right. Well, until we hear more football news, we will bring up the breaking news since things have gotten slow for a little bit of time. But things may pick up in the next couple of days here, given that there's a lot of guys still available in free agency. But we also have the fever. Oh, I got a fever, and it's more baseball. Baseball frenzy. Free agency frenzy.
Was that a walking impression?
I can't do a good walk-in. Everyone has a good walk-in. I can't do a good walk-in.
I could tell.
Let's hear yours, Mr. Caliendo. Let's go.
All right, hang on. We're talking about free agency. What are you doing? This is gonna be this is gonna be the greatest free agency that you've ever heard, that you've ever seen. And I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna sail on my boat, and we're gonna talk about free agents. Sorry, Jesse, she's taking a nap right now.
It's kind of a mix of John Travolta too. Let's say that you can't walk out of a drive-through movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway, let's get to it. The free agency fever.
Okay, so as an A's fan, I expect this shit at this point, but it never gets easy. Matt Olson traded to the Atlanta Braves, and they don't waste any time. They sign him to an 8-year, $168 million extension.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, Steven. It's just at this point, like, what do A's fans really have to look forward to? Just for Matt Chapman to be traded next and, wait for this team to go to Vegas and just watch the Seagulls populate the Coliseum at this point?
No, they need to look forward to the new prospects that they just traded for.
Prospects. That's all I've been hearing about for years and years and years. That's what they trade for, prospects. None of these prospects really materialize.
Yeah, they do.
Well, for now and then they become good players, and then they trade them away again. It's a never-ending cycle. Don't you see?
Well, yeah, I do see. But it got you to 97 wins, and the team stunk too much in the playoffs to get over that twice in a row.
So so you think this is a good way to do business?
I mean, it's the only way that they could do business. They weren't going to give them an 8-year, $168 million deal when they don't even know if they're going to be a team in Oakland in 8 years. Like, they couldn't do anything with Olson. I get why you're mad, and I get the A's fans' frustration, but, I mean, the guys they got in return, think about it. You got Chris Bassett in return for a trade. Like, that's how you draft Samardzija. You trade him to the White Sox, you get Chris Bassett back in that situation.
And then you trade Chris Bassett to the Mets.
I know, but still, like, I get it, but this is something that, Matt Olson's the one I think that's going to hurt the most. I thought Matt Chapman would be the one to go because Matt Chapman's way more.
He's going to.
I think Olson's way more consistent, and I think I personally think he's just a better all-around baseball player, even though Chapman is like unbelievable at third base. But man, I was seeing some numbers. The amount of, and I wish I could word this properly because it's like a super inside analytical baseball stat, but it was talking about Matt Olson and the amount of first base pop-ups that he's caught. And the number was like 318. And the next up was 286 or something. And everyone's like, whoa, what about the Ace Stadium? And, the fact that foul territory is so big. Well, they proved that he did that a lot in away games too. So it's not just because of playing in Oakland. And what we can do with the bat, I just think that if there was anyone they were going to keep, they should have kept, maybe it was Matt Olson, but you got a nice haul for him.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
whatever.
It's a hard process to always have these great players and then just, it's time to trade them. It's just a never-ending thing. It's getting old. And especially when we don't know what the future is for the team in Oakland, it's just hard to get behind this team now.
It's also hard for them to win 97 wins in the regular season and not do anything in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and that was the case with the good teams with, Jason Giambi and, the big three. They never won a playoff series until 2006.
Right.
So
right.
You got to look at the last, 20 years of Billy Beane doing this type of business. Does it really work? It gets you to the playoffs, but no banners to show for it.
Nope. And then Matt Olson is in a better situation. The Braves are a very good team. They are currently the
defending champs.
So good for Matt Olson. 8 years, $168 million. Damn.
Yeah.
You got paid.
Are you happy that Fernando Tatis is out 3 months with a broken wrist?
Hell no.
But he's against the Giants.
So what? I don't care about that. I love
you're a good
Tatis.
Man, Steven.
I think Tatis is fantastic for the league.
I do love Fernando Tatis.
He's terrible defensively, but my God, he's really fun to watch. So I'm kind of pissed about that.
Yeah, last year was we didn't know if he was going to be gone for the whole season. Remember, he got hurt early in the season, and what was the
Yep.
injury? I forget what happened, but he ended up
Oh
playing
God,
most of the year.
it was like it was well, it was his shoulder. It was something
Yeah,
having to do with his shoulder.
yeah. And then he ended up not being a big of an issue, and he played the rest of the season, had a pretty damn good season. And then this year, yeah, what was the deal? He rode a motorcycle, and now his wrist is broken.
Yeah, pulled a Madison Bumgarner.
Oh boy,
Yeah, rode like
Bob
a
Melvin dealing with bullshit right away.
yeah. I mean, it's not as bad as Luzardo, who hurt
Yeah.
himself because he was playing video games. That
Well,
was the
that
reason,
was
right?
yeah, it's different players, but yeah, he was the joystick got him.
Yeah, that's a
I've been there,
lie.
man. I have been there.
That is such a lie. Something else happened. But Tatis though, he's a lot of fun to watch, man. Kind of
Of
angry about
course.
that.
Well, you might be more angry because it's rumored that Freddie Freeman is in the mix for the Padres as well now.
Yeah, well, you know what? They said they were going to get a deal done in 24 hours. Let's think 72 plus 20. They said they were going to get that done 96 hours ago. So I don't believe anything until there's
Who
pen
reported
to
that?
paper.
John Heyman?
I'm sure he did. I'm sure. Freeman, 24 hours, Dodgers, passing first.
It's going to happen. Believe me, people. Believe me. All right. The Warriors are 4-0 since Jackie Moon took the court. Steven, are you with me that this has changed the season? Jackie Moon, baby.
Sure. Sure. I'll get behind that. I mean, if you want to focus on something, just like Steph kicking the chair in that one game, and then they go on to win 9 in a
Still
row.
don't remember that.
Yeah, it was the biggest fit of rage I've ever seen Steph go through. But
he threw his mouthpiece during the finals.
Yeah, that's true. But there was there's also a lot. There was a lot going on for Steph at that time that I don't want to get into. That's his personal life that I don't want to talk about. But that's way too reported. But I mean, come on, you knew all the stuff that was going on within Steph's life at the time. Anyway,
when he threw the mouthpiece?
No, not that. It was earlier in the season when he kicked the chair. There was a lot going on. But
no, hold on.
What?
Does this have to do with Aisha or anything?
Well, you remember all the reports that came out about their relationship and then stuff involving his family. I don't want to get into that.
Oh, Dell and
Yes, we don't need to name them. Let's move on. So, we all know
she was entangled with other basketball players.
Stop it.
Anyway,
stop it. So,
no, it's fine to talk about Josh Jacobs and all the children he has, but we can't talk about this.
4-0, and they played against the Nuggets team that was tired. That Clippers team, Kevon Looney, shout out to him. Then the Bucks, and then you had that game last night against a Wizards team, which was essentially a tune-up game. So yeah, 4-0 for Jackie Moon. I guess we have to attribute it to the great Jackie.
Jackie Moon, baby. Just don't ask for corn dogs or $10,000 from a half-court shot.
No, but there is going to be the next halftime show at Chase Center where Draymond Green fights a bear.
My money's on Draymond. Real quick, just talk about Saturday night. Great performance by Klay Thompson, 38 points. Jordan Poole, I like, and not much from Steph, but you don't need it because they were double teaming the whole night. I don't know. I may be totally wrong here. There might be a time in the playoffs where you may need to go to this new death lineup, and I'm talking about Steph, Klay, Draymond, Jordan Poole, and Andrew Wiggins. I know it's not a lot of size on the court, but if you're down in a series and you just want to start fast with bomb some threes, that may be the way to go.
Yeah,
a new death lineup minus Andre.
There's no doubt, but I think we're also seeing it in real time. Steve Kerr try to tinker with things to see what they want to go with because they still got 14 games or whatever it is, 13 games to figure that out. But man, when Steph, Klay, and when Steph, Klay, and Poole are on the court at the same time, my God, they are lethal. And then when you add Draymond into the mix last night, you saw, I mean, it didn't look like they missed a beat. Like it was from the first possession that Draymond was involved in with Steph. It was like he gave the ball off to he got the ball in the mid post. He was on the right wing, and then he had Kevon Looney come and set a screen for a defender. Steph ran around that screen. Draymond got him the ball.
Yep.
Puts up a three, knocks it down. I don't think it's any coincidence that he had 47 points last night and Draymond came back in that same game. Maybe he's going to really,
Absolutely.
maybe he really is going to fix everything. But yeah, that's Saturday night, man. When we saw Steph, Clay, and Jordan Poole at the same time, you're absolutely right. You're going to need some variation of that, whether it's Wiggins, whether it's Looney. But clearly, those four guys are your best players, and you want
Yeah.
those four players on the court at the same time. Maybe Andre Iguodala can be involved in that. So, and have him be power forward or have him and Draymond both switch between the 4 and the 5 in the front court, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, to get him a little more size and more defense, you could make the argument because he has been, off and on, is Andrew Wiggins is coming off the bench. But we'll see down the line if they want to tinker with that. But just talking about last night, Draymond came back off the bench, 20 minutes, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. That's a hard one to say too.
There you go.
And 6 points. But it was mainly he is arguably the best quarterback in the Bay Area where he can see things on the court before they happen. No, it was perfect last night. Colin Azubuike, it was sounded right away that he is not without skipping a beat. His first play, he sets that screen, as you said, Steven, finds Steph Curry immediately, and Steph is able to roam around the court for 47 points. His best output. I can't remember the last time he scored 40 points, but yeah, Draymond just makes his team that much better. And speaking of Curry, God, that move on Porzingis last night, just the fake and going up, beautiful.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if Jordan Poole keeps this up and Klay Thompson is back to being Klay Thompson, my favorite thing is on Saturday night, single digits for Steph. He's only done that one other time this season. That was against the Heat earlier on this year. So Warriors officially 2-0 when Steph scores in the single digits. So keep that on notice there. That's the key, I think, in the playoffs.
Start setting that trend there.
Steph scoring the single digits. Don't score
keep
more than
him in the single
points.
digits, everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Ultimate decoy. That's Steph Curry.
But look, man, if they're, I mean, this game tomorrow is going to show a lot because the Celtics are one of, if not the hottest team in the league. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have both been very, very good as of late. And tomorrow is going to be the true test. Yesterday was like a tune-up game, I'd say, and they proved them right. But my favorite thing about Draymond's stat line, the number that you didn't read off, Derek.
Ooh, sorry.
Unbelievable. No, but I don't really. What do you? Let me just ask you. What do you think of plus minus? Do you like that stat at all?
Only for guys that really play defense.
Right. Well, I think that the plus minus, you can really only use it as you can really only use that as a, to go with your take, to build on your take if you're playing the amount that Draymond did. Draymond was a plus 24 on the court in his 20 minutes. Now, if you're on the court for 35, 38, whatever it is, like Steph and Jordan Poole were, it's a game of, it's a game of runs, right? That's a weird way to word it. I said that this morning, and it's just, I can't get my mind out of the gutter.
They got the runs.
It's a game of runs. It's a game of streaks. It's all...
It's all in the shorts, baby.
It's all just so, I'm a 5-year-old on there. 5 a.m., 5 years old. But but when he's a plus 24 on the court in his 20 minutes of time, man, that means he was pretty impactful in his minutes on the floor. So, can't wait.
And he's the leader of the team. And he's the quarterback. He makes the offense run. It's amazing how he's developed in such just a fantastic offensive player, and just how he sets things up for everybody else, and then his impact on defense. And I know we've gone back and forth. Some seasons we're like, God, Draymond's such a pain in the ass. He has to flip out and get texts and everything, and maybe you think about trading him because he makes so much money, and people complain about the lack of offensive input he has in games. But it's just so much more than that, and I always say, you really don't see what Draymond does on the court until you actually see it in a game. Like, you actually go to a game. He's everywhere. But last night you were able to see it, like him setting up screens, him, setting up the, passing it out, finding, Moses Moody or Jonathan Kuminga or Kevon Looney. Those guys weren't able to have, as big of an impact without him in the last, 2 months that Draymond's been gone. So I think that, and I mean, they've had their moments, but Draymond makes it that much better for everybody. So
Agreed.
It's interesting that after the game, Draymond, we'll get to everything he said in the post game, but he thinks that this team's going to win another championship. And right now they're sitting at the third seed. Um, they're what are they? Are they tied with the Memphis Grizzlies record wise right
They
now? Let me
are,
pull
but
this.
the Grizzlies have a lead on them in the Western Conference, and the Grizzlies are playing tonight against the Pacers. Actually, they're playing right now against the Pacers. So,
But do you know who's not playing? John Morant. He's out tonight with back soreness.
well, Pacers don't have anybody, so I think the Grizzlies are gonna handle them anyway. What's the
But
score right now? Have you checked it?
I have not checked it actually.
All right, I'll take a look. But yeah, they are the second and third seed right now. Warriors technically the third, just because the Grizzlies have more.
In the early game of Grizzlies Pacers, 6:50 left in the first quarter. Grizzlies are up 16-11.
Yeah, Pacers suck, man. So
they do. But with that back soreness, we'll see how long it lingers for old Ja. Where's Ja? It could be that the Warriors catch them and get the 2 seed. But yeah, Draymond, and that's just the mentality they have of just being a 3-time champion. But they seem to believe that they're going to win the championship again. And they asked Klay Thompson, and Klay Thompson gave him more, you expect me to sit up here and act like somebody else is going to win this championship? No. So it's not like they're predicting that they're going to win the championship. They just expect it. They envision it. That's a better way to answer that than Russell Westbrook did last week, where he was like, I don't envision anything. No, the Warriors envision a championship this year in the Chase Center.
Yes, and there's no need to be humble. They're 3-time champs. And
sit down.
Draymond also mentioned that they are, that he said that months ago, and he did. Like, he's been saying this all along, that they could be a championship team. And with him there, I think that he's going to turn it around. The ascension of Jonathan Kuminga, by the way, I'm thinking about creating a new song for him. Instead of Goldfinger, it is Kuminga.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I may need to steal that from you and call it my own.
He has got the tightest dunks. I don't know.
The man with the tightest dunks.
Yes.
He wants to dunk.
Might need to change the wording on that one. I got to work on the lyrics a little more, but we got a good base here.
I like it.
Kuminga. I've been trying to think of something all season.
If you need any background vocals, let me know.
Yeah, okay, I got you. But yeah, man, I think they could be a championship team.
I think they could too. It's funny how we changed our tune from 4 games ago to now.
No, that's how big they were, though. I'm dead serious about that. That's how big those games were last week.
Yeah,
the Grizzlies had a 3-day break, maybe a 4-day break. Was it? They played on Tuesday. I think it was against the Knicks, and then they didn't play again until Friday. So in the meantime, the Warriors had to play 3 games, and they lost that first one to Denver. But then they won the next 2, and then they beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, that's how crucial those games were to get those wins. You wouldn't be talking about the 2 seed right now. You'd be way gone from the 2 seed. You'd be looking at the Jazz and what they're doing. So those games were huge, man. I don't fault anyone for being kind of worried, because I'm also in that category, but I don't fault anybody for being worried at that time.
And the Bucks do a favor to us last night by being the Jazz. So it looks like we'll be in good control of either the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed.
And you can't tell me that they don't play differently at Chase Center. Like, if they're going to have some sort of advantage, I want it to be home court advantage. And if they can be the 2nd seed where they can get as many games in their home court outside of being the number 1, then they need to do that, because they just play differently at Chase. They do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and I thought, tomorrow night will be a good test between them and the Celtics. But I thought,
be a good game.
Handling the Bucks on Saturday night was pretty telling too. The defending champs, they're coming off, a good run. But we'll see here. We'll see how the old Warriors stack up these next couple weeks.
Playing a little hack of Giannis. I mean, Giannis had more free throws than I think he did shots in that game last on Saturday. So and it's going to be a big one tomorrow, though. And it's at the end of March, dude. Can't wait for the end of March games. You got the Suns, the Grizzlies, the Jazz. Yep. I can't wait.
Woo! Let's talk about real quick Draymond Green in the post game.
Yeah.
So he gave a good, little Q&A with Fitz and Buki, and talked about how he's happy to be back, and talked about how he thinks he's going to win the championship. And then he goes to the big room to talk with all the media members. And Draymond's part of the media now. He is signed on TNT. He's a guy that has his podcast. He gives his opinion, and he thinks that he is one with the media. They're one and the same. And it was a long awkward exchange. I shouldn't say exchange. It was all Draymond telling the Bay Area media, kind of like in a similar fashion. I wouldn't say it was like Kevin Durant calling out Ethan Strauss or anything, but it was similar in the sense that he came back, first game back, and told everybody, all the reporters in the room, if we're going to have this relationship together, you got to be truthful and you got to respect me.
Okay,
And
he didn't say it like that though. Like, good lord, you're making it sound like he went up there and said, "You gotta respect
no,
me."
did I say it in that tone? Did I say it in that voice?
Well, you said it with a little aggressiveness behind it.
I'm not saying anything aggressive. He was
I
just
listened
saying
to that
that.
clip like a billion times this morning. It
Okay,
was
you say it then, Steven. You do it, Mr. 5 a.m.
he just wanted to look. He just wants the integrity of journalism to be there, and
And that's
the
fair.
and he went on a little minute and 20 rant at the beginning where he's not going to take too many questions just because he felt like he was I guess slandered would be the word to use. But Anthony Slater from The Athletic wrote the article back in LA saying that he worked with the team, he practiced, and then he went out and partied in LA. And they called him sick the next day. But if you look at Green's Instagram, then we all know what he was doing in LA. I remember reading that.
Okay.
And I did not make anything of it. Like, I didn't know that fans were outraged at Draymond acting like that he's not dedicated to the team or something. Like, I don't blame Anthony Slater so much as I blame the fan base for just overreacting to everything. Oh,
Were the
Draymond,
fans upset about that?
I guess so, because I just
I mean,
read an article.
Draymond does get a lot of shit.
You know what's funny is I read an article as you were talking.
Yeah.
I didn't read one, but I skimmed through it real quick.
Yeah.
And it said, like, why Draymond was like that to the media. And it specifically pointed to that Anthony Slater article.
Yeah.
So clearly there had to have been some sort of outrage from the fans, or else Draymond's just taking that way too serious, because the way that Slater put it, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I think the same article, because I was like, what is he mad about? And I know Anthony Slater, you know Anthony Slater. There is a few basketball writers that I really respect. He's among them. I think he does his work. He knows the game very well. And I read the quote, and I didn't really think anything of it. You and I made fun of Draymond last podcast, just saying that he was feeling himself on the sideline, on the bench, wearing his orange colored glasses, and he's a guy that likes to be around the media now and likes the camera. But
it looked like him and Andre had a nice glass of wine.
Yeah.
Prior to the game, which I do not blame them for, by the way.
No.
It's like if I was injured and I was at a game on a weekend, I'd be like, let's go.
No, like I never questioned Draymond's dedication to basketball.
No.
Did he party in LA? Yeah, sure. What's the big deal? He's
Oh no, he had a birthday party and he went and he didn't go with the team. It's like, dude, give the guy a break,
I mean, the bigger thing was during the 2019 season where the team sucked and he was like, fuck it, I don't want to play in these games.
Yeah. Calling Laker fans bratty just because they're Laker fans, but essentially saying fans are bratty and stupid for booing a team when you paid your hard-earned money to go and watch them, and they're not putting in their 100% effort against a crappy Pelicans team, and he called them insane and bratty. That was one where Draymond rubbed me the wrong way there. Like, I thought like what he said there was just not good, and I need to word that differently. Draymond's word rubbed me the wrong way.
But that was not good.
But that Slater article, like, I didn't make anything of that, man.
I didn't think much of it. Draymond gets a lot of shit for his texts. Last year with the Charlotte game where he cost the team the win because of the way he acted. Obviously, the finals in 2015 or 2016 where he gets suspended. The interview with Kevin Durant where he basically called out Steve Kerr and Bob Myers for handling it poorly. He's criticized for those things, and I don't think he's ever come back and said, like, fuck all you guys. But I don't understand this one. Like, it may just be that he didn't like the implication from Anthony Slater that he wasn't dedicated to basketball. But, Draymond, it's also that we've heard new things about Draymond where he doesn't drink anymore. He has slimmed down, and he's a family man. He has a son. We see the cute kid on the sidelines now, but it may just be that, to you and me, it's like, oh, he's partying, not the biggest thing in the world, but to him, it may just seem like that's not me anymore. Like this is wrong. This is wrong information. But
Yeah.
if it's on his Instagram, then it's on his Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's really just the article that he's angry about, I'm not going to tell him as an athlete who's being put under the spotlight, like what to focus on and what not to focus on. Like, I'd like to say, yeah, if I were Draymond, I'd shove that to the side, but I really think it had to do with the fan reaction to it. It couldn't have been good, but I also didn't see much fan reaction, so
Yeah, I
I don't
didn't
know.
either.
But if he were to do it like Kevin Durant, he would have waited for Slater to ask him a question and then
Yeah.
been like, you wrote something about me and you think that I went out and partied on my birthday weekend? Who are you, Anthony? Why do I got to talk to you? You know, like that's if he were.
God,
I
that
think he
seems
was
like a
very
lifetime
respectful.
ago.
I think he was very respectful opening it up like that in that way.
Hey, listen, I'm always gonna have the athletes back when it comes to media stuff. They can say whatever they want, and the media just has to take it. But I just thought it was kind of random. I was watching it last night. I was like, "Where's this coming from?"
Yeah, I said that same thing, and someone on the text line, it's my favorite type of text. You are the problem. Why you're literally, I got a text, dude. It was from the 707. They said, you're the problem. What you're doing right now is what Draymond's talking about. And I responded, I was like, I don't think so. Draymond's more just talking about something very specific. And I'm
Yes.
wondering what that is. Like, I'm not saying that he did anything wrong. I haven't said anything bad about Draymond the past few weeks. Like, what about besides the Laker thing? But other than that, like, I don't get what you're talking about. And he's like, you're the problem.
Well, okay.
There's always those texters that love to call you out when you're the part of the media.
No,
What?
in any part of society now, like, whether you're on the radio or off the radio, if you know what I mean, when someone says you're the problem, like, okay, please stop.
Yeah, whenever someone's going after the media and you talk about what that player's doing, then immediately you're going to get the text with, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You're the media. I'm like, shut up, dude.
No, I've never considered myself part of the media. I've always tried to go with what the athletes want to talk about and what they care about. But I just thought, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. At the same time, I respect Draymond, but he's a part of the media now. So it's just funny to me where he's like, you can't talk about me like that. And yet he'll go on TNT and, say what he says about Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic. And, he respects those guys too. But it's just funny. Like, are we, are players going to call out Draymond for, being a player and then also just saying the shit too? Like, a lot of people have opinions these days, but Draymond is going to be a analyst / athlete going forward. If the Warriors, seasons end, shorter than expected, which would suck, TNT is going to have him in the studio. Yeah. And he's going to talk shit about some players. And that's going to come back to him when he plays these guys.
Hell yeah.
And I also thought it was funny that he said, I'm not going to answer a lot of questions. I'm not going to talk, but let me just talk about all this shit that I want to talk about for, 15, 20 more minutes. It wasn't that long, but it's just funny to me that Draymond's like, I'm not going to give you a lot, but what that means to Draymond is like, I'm not going to give you a lot is what most Warrior athletes give. He goes on and on and on and on when he's in post-game press conferences now to talk about whatever comes to his mind.
Yeah. He treats it as if it's his podcast.
Exactly.
As if they're just giving him content for the volume.
Yeah. No, the volume. Real quick, Steven, did you see the second episode of Winning Time?
I did not.
Let me just say that, no, you're fine. No basketball has been played yet on the show. And, it's a fine show, and I'm really enjoying it. And, it's taking its time, which I appreciate, and everyone's acting very well in it. But the more I watch it, especially in the second episode, the more I'm seeing what people are saying about the portrayal of Jerry West, in that it is just not accurate whatsoever. It's really over the top. And it's one thing when you're doing a show about, actual people and you make up certain things. I get that. But when you're, changing the way someone acted or, their reputation, it's a lot. So, like, in the same way that Art Howe wasn't depicted very well in Moneyball, I think it's kind of the same thing with Jerry West in Winning Time, where they're showing him just berating players, and the whole story of him resigning before the season is not accurate. I get it. It's a show, and you got to tell a story. and this is what we asked for when we got this show. But it also has to be accurate. And I saw Raymond Ritter, the PR director of the Warriors, tweet out something saying like, "I knew Jerry West. This portrayal is terrible." And I respect that. A lot of people that love Jerry West, that grew up with him as a great player, a younger generation is watching the show and being like, Jerry West was an asshole.
Have Kareem or Magic said anything?
They haven't. In this
Well, then
next
I want to hear what
episode,
they have to say about it, because a lot of people are going to say, well, I know Jerry West. Raymond Ritter, I mean, I love him, but he knew Jerry West in that time with the Warriors. Like, Jerry West was in very
well, no, no,
good
no, no, no,
spirits.
no, no. Raymond Ritter.
But he's going back previously to it.
Raymond Ritter, before he was a PR guy for the Warriors, used to work for the Lakers back in the day.
Really?
Oh yeah, Raymond's been around, my friend. Raymond knows where everyone did their stuff with the Lakers back in the day.
The double R superstar. Wow.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that. Love Raymond.
he's
But
the
I want to
best.
hear from Kareem and Magic. I want to hear what they have to say.
They're
about
not
the
gonna
portrayal.
talk about the show.
All right, hang on.
Mac-
I gotta go get a. I'm sorry, I gotta go get a Mac charger. I'll be like 2 seconds. Just keep talking.
right.
I can hear you. Keep talking.
Okay, all right. We're about to end the show, but it seems like a weird time to charge the laptop. All right. Anyway, I think the show's fun. I'm having a fun time watching it. I just think that with anything these days, with retelling something that happened in real life, you're going to change some aspects of what happened in reality. So I don't know. I'm still enjoying the show. I would love to see what happens when they actually start playing basketball, and when they get to Jack McKinney and Paul Westhead and Larry Riley, or I keep saying Larry Riley, Pat Riley, when they became the coaches of the Lakers. So I'm interested in seeing where the show goes. It's taking its sweet time with developing the season, but I like that too, because it can't all just be like flying in at once. Like, this is 1982, this is 1983. I think it's just really fascinating, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But it's bittersweet, and then I'm enjoying the way the show is made. Actually, Jonah Hill directed the last episode, but you're seeing Jerry West drink at a bar, and people say that he never drank before. It kind of goes into his backstory of how abusive his childhood was. The, the funny part is the sex scenes that they're having, these high profile athletes portraying. But it's HBO. You're always going to have graphic sex scenes.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk about that real quick, because while I'm enjoying the show, I understand that a lot of NBA historians are having a problem with it.
You seen Euphoria?
No, and I don't want to watch that show, because I think that some people have hard experiences with high school, but that just seems like way over the top.
Dude, it's a softcore porn. It really
But
is.
besides the drug use?
Besides the drug use, it is insanely over
It's
the top.
what's her name? Zendaya?
Yeah, Zendaya. It's so over the top, and I'm watching these scenes. I'm like, why are they adding this in here? Like,
Yeah. I've heard it's really extreme and dark.
it's so extreme, and it's look, it is very well done. I will say that, but it makes it seem like if I were watching that show and I'm, like, it's already terrified me to have a child now.
Yeah.
Because my child is going to grow to become a teenager, and if I have a daughter, then according to this show, she will turn into a druggie, or she will constantly have issues with boys. Well, I guess that's going to be a normal thing no matter
Yeah,
what.
that's going to happen.
That's kind of normal. They're going to be drinking while driving. I'm not a fan of that. They're going to be wearing scantily clad clothing to a fair.
Oh no, can't have that.
Let me think. What else? And then if it's a guy, well, then apparently if I have a son, then he's just going to be a total scumbag, because that's what all guys are in Euphoria, except for one guy, and that's Angus Cloud.
Good old Angus.
That's my new impression that I'm working on, by the way. He's
Can I hear Angus Cloud that I've never heard before?
yes. So he plays
Hold
a
on,
drug
there's
dealer.
a character on this show called Angus Cloud.
No, that's his real name. He's called Fezco, but he's this
That's better.
He's this drug dealer. He's from Oakland, actually, which is cool.
Okay.
And him and Zendaya went to the same school for the arts in Oakland, and everyone thinks, oh, they acted together. Not true. Apparently, he was working on the set at the time while she was there, so he was like a set designer guy.
I forget that Zendaya's from Oakland.
And then Zendaya was at the school, but he moved to New York. The casting director found him, said he should audition. He auditioned. He got the part because he had the look and the voice that she wanted. So here's my Angus Cloud impression. Here we go.
Can't wait for this of a guy I've never heard before.
Rue, what are you doing, Rue? The hell you doing, Rue? Why you gotta do that, Rue? Rue, fuck, Rue. You're so annoying, Rue. Hell, Rue, what the hell you doing, Rue? What are you talking about, man? Rue. Anyway, there you go.
For anybody watching or listening, can you verify that was a good impression? I can't tell.
It's a solid impression. I'll show you a video of him. Fantastic impression. So I'm working on it. You don't move your lips. That's the key. Except unless you're saying Rue. Rue, what are you doing, Rue? Anyway.
While we're on the subject of HBO shows, have you seen The Righteous Gemstones?
I got through the first season.
Well, what do you think of it?
Very interesting show.
Oh, I love it.
I like it. Yeah,
I love it.
Done.
You ever watch Vice Principals?
Yes. Didn't like that one.
You didn't like Vice Principals?
Nah, I don't know why I didn't. I just remember watching it. Like I don't know about this.
It's a little mean spirited, but it is. I just love fucking Danny McBride and Walter Goggins, I think his name is.
Yes.
Their chemistry on that show, and just that both shows are wild. I think Vice Principals is definitely more wild than Righteous Gemstones, but I've gotten more to appreciate Danny McBride. While I've gotten, when I was younger, I wasn't really a huge fan of Eastbound and Down. I was just like, this show is just nothing. And now I've grown to appreciate his style of humor, even though I love Seth Rogen and all those guys. I just never really was a big Danny McBride fan besides This Is the End. But I've actually gone back now and watched Eastbound and Down now that I've finished Righteous Gemstones and Vice Principals, and I'm seeing the appeal of old Danny McBride.
Yeah. So your favorite role was This Is the End after
Pineapple Express,
after Tropic Thunder, after
Tropic Thunder, he's good in that. Mother Nature just pissed her pantsuits.
Land of the Lost.
Never saw Land of the Lost.
What else? I mean, Eastbound and Down is a classic.
Oh, Hot Rod.
Hot Rod.
I was having sex with these.
I've been drinking green tea all goddamn day.
he's great at that. He's great.
I go to church every goddamn Sunday, and you're gonna bring the demons out of me. As he's like hitting him with a trash can. So good.
He is good in that. While we're on the subject of HBO shows, real quick though, have you heard this story that I was excited for this? Larry David was going to have this documentary come out about him, and it was going to be on HBO Max, and it was just going to be a sit down about his life and making Seinfeld and Curb. And the Monday before it was going to be released on a Tuesday. Larry David tells HBO, nah, I don't want you to air it. And they're like, Larry, like, what the fuck? Like, no. And they're like, I want it to be live in front of a studio audience and everything. No, put on hold.
Where'd you see that?
It's been reported. Just type in Larry David, and he nixed it. He just said, we're not airing it. The day before it was supposed to air, like hardworking people edited this thing and everything, and he wants it to be in a different format. And I just thought it was interesting because if you know Larry David and the whole history of Curb Your Enthusiasm, the very first episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, or I shouldn't say the first episode, but like the thing that was what led to Curb Your Enthusiasm was this 1 hour special about Larry David, where it's half mockumentary and half real about him making Seinfeld and his life in stand-up comedy. And the premise of that is it's all leading up to him having a stand-up special at the end of the 1 hour mockumentary thing. And it has, Jeff Garland playing Jeff and everything. So it was the basis of what Curb Your Enthusiasm was going to be, but the ending was going to be where he was doing his stand-up special. And as it approaches, he gets more nervous and has anxiety. And it ends with the day before the performance. He tells HBO executives, he makes up a story that his stepfather dies and he can't do the special. And they're all pissed at him, but he's like, I don't have to worry about that special anymore. It's just very, very eerily similar that the day before something is supposed to come out about him, he goes, nah, I don't want you to air it. Yeah.
Larry David. I mean, this guy.
That's all you got to say for that?
Yeah, I mean, what else is new?
Did you have a nap today, Steven?
What?
Did you have a nap today? You seem tired.
I'm exhausted.
All right, I'm gonna let you sleep then. Did you
No,
ever find this? Did you ever find this impression of Rue?
What?
Did you ever find an impression of Rue that you could pull up to
Oh,
show
I
me?
didn't. You know what though? Let me. You know what? I'm gonna pull it
Right.
up and share it. Hang on. Hang on. Okay.
Just zoning out while I tell that Larry David story.
Yeah, I don't know. You were going on about like multiple documentaries. It was wild. Okay, hang on. Hang on. There we go. There we go. All right, hang on. I'm gonna
Are
share.
you playing a video?
Yeah, I'm gonna share it. Hang on.
All right, go for it.
All right, there we go. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Observation for Fezco, who's not normally revolving in the same direction as planet Earth.
So, how long you been back?
5 days.
And like, how you feeling?
I mean, ever since I gave my life over to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, things have been like really good.
Word? That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm fucking with you, Fez.
Shit. Hey, I don't judge.
Hey. Anyway, yeah.
All right. Where's the show based? Is it in Oakland?
L.A.
Of course.
L.A. Yeah, no, but he's awesome. Like as much as I do the impression of him, he's like he's born to play that role. He's fantastic. And then he also, I mean, he's the exact same way in his interviews too. I've seen a couple of them because I had to find out for myself, like, what does this dude sound like in real life? And he sounds exactly like that. Fuck you doing, Rue?
I kind of see it now. Do we have any new news? No, anybody signed in the last hour and a half that we've been doing this old podcast?
Not besides Deontay Foreman, according to my sources.
Deontay Foreman? Oh, the running back?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show.
Deontay Foreman?
Yes.
When was that?
You don't remember that?
I said Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, we said Tyrod Taylor, and they said Deontay Foreman, according to my sources.
Where's Deontay Foreman going?
246. I forgot where he's going. Hang on, let me pull that up again. Titan or the Texans restructured Laramie Tunsil's deal. Panthers.
Oh, Deontay Foreman's going to the Panthers. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And Laramie Tunsil staying with the Texans. That's interesting as well.
You really don't remember the Deontay Foreman thing, huh?
Well, I don't remember that ever being discussed on this podcast.
Wow.
Just as you tune me out, sometimes I tune you out.
Well, I mean, I kind of listened. I know the base of what you were talking about. I mean, Deontay Foreman. Good Lord.
I'll have to go back and listen if we spent more than a minute talking about Deontay Foreman.
I mean, we spent like 30 seconds on him, and then we went into Rappaport versus Schefter and how they're the exact same person.
Oh, okay. All right. Mm-hmm. On that note, Steven, I'll let you get some sleep. I could use a little nap myself. But we'll be back tomorrow. Oh, yeah. We'll get this podcast up in a few, and we'll be back at it again on Wednesday because you're going to spring training this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Do you want me to end this like we always do?
I was just seeing if you're going to say anything about spring training, but
sure. Well, I mean, we got tomorrow to talk about that. We have a whole nother podcast.
We do. Let's save our energy because we have a ton of it right now for tomorrow. On that note, Steven, say what you always say, my friend.
It's just our opinion, man.